In this session, let's understand how to work with tab strip control. So using this, you can basically create multiple tabs on your screen, and within each tab you can load a subscreen. To create a tab strip control, I'll go to my main screen. Go to the layout. And here, let's say I want to create the tab strip control somewhere here. I'll select this tab strip with wizard. You can also do it manually, but it's a lot of work. You have to separately define your subscreens and then define the tab strip area. There you link your subscreens. So instead of manually doing all of that, you can select this tab strip control with wizard. Then it will automatically generate all the required subscreens for you for each tab that you define. So each tab will have one subscreen defined. So if you are creating a tab strip control with 5 tabs, then the system will automatically generate the required subscreens for each tab automatically. So you don't have to manually do it. So I'll select this tab strip with wizard and I'll drag it where I want the tab strip control. It will start the wizard. Read the instructions that you find here and then click continue. It just explains what it is trying to do in each step. So give some name for your tab strip control. Let's say vtab ctrl, and you can select the scrolling option. If you select scrolling in the application server, then when you try to scroll, it will only get you the limited data that can be displayed in the current view, and when you perform a scroll action like up scroll or down scroll, then it will request the next set of data from the application server. Whereas if you select scrolling in SAP GUI, then all the data will be transferred to your SAP GUI and scrolling will be handled locally in the SAP GUI. Click next and give some names for your tabs. Minimum you should have at least 2 tabs. So I'll say tab 1 and tab 2. This is what will be displayed as the title for your tab. So give that. And for each tab, you can see it is creating one subscreen. So 101 screen will be created for tab 1 and 102 will be created for tab 2. And when you select a tab, it should load this subscreen. So some PAI activity should happen. So for each tab, it is assigning one function code so that when you select a tab, it will trigger PAI. Here, it is asking you to give the include program names where all the generated code can be written. So we are giving our main program as the name, so all the code will be written in our main program. Click continue and then click complete. So the wizard will define those subscreens and do the data declarations in your program and generate the code for you automatically. So here we have this tab strip control, tab 1 and tab 2. I'll activate it and go back. Here you can see the new screens 101 and 102 are created. 101 is attached to tab 1 and 102 is attached to tab 2. So select all and activate. Now if you look at our transaction, we have this tabs, first tab and second tab. So it's giving a runtime error. It's not related to the tasks. Here, I think we mentioned the next screen as 400, and since there is no next screen defined for 400, it's giving that error. So I'll change it. Now I'll run this. So if you see, I have the tab 1, and if I select, this is tab 2. So for each tab there is one subscreen defined, So whatever fields you want to show in this particular tab, just go and maintain those fields in this 101 subscreen, and whatever fields you want to display in this particular tab, maintain them in 102 subscreen. Again, once I input data in this particular tab, if you want to process, you can do it in PAI of this screen, and if you want to hide certain fields on this tab or disable, enable fields or anything you want to dynamically handle here, you can handle it in PBO. So everything else remains the same. The only thing is, if you want to have some fields in this tab, go and add them to 101, and if you want to have fields on this tab, go and add them to 102. So if I go to this 101 screen and go to the layout, here I'll remove this and I'll add one text field. Let's say plant, say v_works. These data objects should be defined in your main program itself. So all these screens are using the memory of your main program. So whatever screen fields you are defining in any screen, those data objects should be defined in your main program in the global declaration area. If you remember, we've already defined this works in our program, so it will point to the same memory. So whatever you fill in that data object will be automatically displayed here. Let me do it again. v_works. Now I'll do the same for 102 screen, and here let's say we'll show some customer number. Let's say customer and v_KUNNR. So now if I run my transaction, whatever I fill in this plant will automatically appear here, because once I hit enter, it will trigger PAI, and then I'm filling that v_works field with this value. So the same value will be shared with this field as well. On one screen, you cannot have two fields with the same name. However, since these are coming from a subscreen, this field belongs to a different screen. So in that case, you can have two fields with the same name. So whatever I fill here is appearing here automatically, right? So in tab 1, I have this plant, and in tab 2, I have the customer. Okay. So everything is same. It's just that if you are defining some screen elements in the main screen, you handle it in the main screen's PAI and PBO. Similarly, if you are defining something in a subscreen, then you can handle it in the PAI and PBO modules of that screen. All these screens share the same data objects that you define in the main program. Also, all the modules that you'll be calling from these screens should be maintained in your main program. So if you want to call one module here, you can do that in your main program. So you create this module within your main program. Okay. Now let's say I want to make this field input enabled if this is empty. Otherwise, if it is having some value, I want to make it input disabled. So I want to dynamically handle this field. So to dynamically process these fields, one way of doing it is, if you want to statically maintain them, for example, if I want to make it input enabled or disabled statically, I can double click on this field, and under these options, I can change the attributes to dynamically make it mandatory field or output field or input field. So this is static way of doing it. So when you maintain it here in the screen field attributes, that is permanent. It will always behave that. But sometimes you may want to dynamically handle this. To do that, since I want to do this for this particular field which is in screen 101, I should handle it before that screen is displayed. So I should write the code in PBO of 101. So I'll go to PBO of 101 and create a module. And here we use this screen structure. So there's a by default one structure with the name screen, which will have all those attributes that you can maintain for your screen fields. So to do that, we have to use this loop at screen statement. And in each loop, it will pass one screen element into your program to this screen structure, and it has various attributes that you can maintain. We'll see in debug mode. So one of the attributes is I can check if screen name equals to v_works. That is a field name I'm checking. Again, make sure you compare the uppercase. The name should be in uppercase. If this is the screen field that we are processing currently in the screen loop, because in each loop it will send one element. So if you have 10 elements on the screen, then in each loop it will be processing one element. So we want to only apply this when the element is v_works. Then I'll say screen input equals to 0. That means it will disable it. Then you say modify screen. So when I say modify screen, this change will be applied to for that screen element. So if I write this code, this field will be always input disabled. And if I keep a breakpoint here and run my transaction, here if you see the screen structure, it has various fields, all those attributes that you can maintain statically in the screen painter. It has all those attributes here. And in the first loop, it has transferred that text field. We don't want to do anything. In the second loop, it has transferred that works field because there are only 2 elements on the screen. And for this, required is 0. If I make it 1 dynamically here, then it becomes a mandatory field. Input is 1. That means it is input enabled, and I'm trying to make it 0. And when I say modify screen, it has made this input as 0. So I'm dynamically modifying these attributes. And at this point, if you see, this field is input disabled. Okay. So if I want to write some logic, something like this, if the variable v_works is not initial, that means it has some value, then make it input disabled. Else, if it is empty, then make it input enabled. So I'll say 1. So you can dynamically handle whether a particular field should be enabled or disabled. So now if you see, this is input enabled, but the moment I put some value there, if I hit enter, now v_works is having some value, so it will make it input disabled. Okay, so like that you can manually control the screen field attributes by looping through this loop at screen structure. So the screen structure, and the screen structure has various values. One of them is name, using which you can identify which screen field you are currently processing, and then you can manipulate the attributes. If you are processing multiple fields and you want to apply the same thing for all those fields, then instead of manually checking for each field name, you can also check for example, if you go to this layout, there is something called groups. So you can assign 4 different types of group combinations. So let's say I'll assign group 1 for this field and group 1 for this field So these are like group 1, group 2, group 3 and group 4. And if I want to apply something to these two fields together, then in loop at screen, instead of checking for name, here if you see the screen structure, instead of checking for name, I can check for this group. So when those fields are being processed, if a group is assigned for this field, it will also show that group name. So I can say, if instead of screen name, I can say if screen group 1 equals to whatever value, then all the fields that are having that group value will be having these changes applied. So all those, this if condition will be satisfied for all those fields. So it will apply those changes for all those fields. So you can, instead of writing 4 if conditions checking for each field, then you can simply assign a group name for all those fields and check for the group name. So that way you can do it. So this is your tab strip control. I'm not showing you all the elements because all these elements, table controls, buttons, anything, checkboxes, everything you can keep within this screen that is loaded as a subscreen when you select the particular tab. So everything remains the same. Okay. So that's about tab strip controls. See you in the next video.